Bang, 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 ba 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 bang. Hi guys and welcome to a new episode on this channel. Today we will be talking about this book called S.E. Hinton, The Outsiders. So yeah, let's get started with nipples. So yeah, what is this book about? Well, this book, it talks a lot about some kind of gang who does a lot of stuff. Now, if you want some animations of this, I highly recommend the Suck Notes, The Outsiders. But for now, let's just do this if you want to stay on this page forever. First of all, there is this guy named Ponyboy Curtis. He has lost his parents and then lives with his older brothers. Dally Curtis and Soda Pop Curtis. And Ponyboy Curtis is his real name. Pretty laughing about it, yeah? And then he is part of a gang called the Greasers, who look tough and are the poor kids in the neighborhood. And then there is another gang called the Socials, which is short for socials. And those are the richer kids of the neighborhood. They have all the fancy guys, the fancy DVD sets, or even the fancy gramophone records of Elvis Presley. Or even the Beatles. No, that's the Champions, the Queens. Sorry. Like, yeah, imagine. By the way, we have to talk about the author first. S.E. Hinton, guess first. Who is a boy? Is S.E. Hinton a boy or a girl? Answer will be shown at the end of this video. But S.E. Hinton was the author of this book. And S.E. Hinton was also the person who was a teenager. She was a teenager. But S.E. Hinton was said to be like, "You're too teenagerish. Change your name to adultish." And she's like, alright. He like, or she, or like, he. That's why I said he. You are not allowed to know yet. He was like, alright. And she changed her name to S.E. Hinton. Now, it is not possible it is she or he yet. So, keep on listening. S.E. Hinton was like black, and then she wrote this novel and about some teenager gangs. And this was the first novel in her time of teenagers in her time. It's like, wow. And now is not which type of person is gonna be said. Alright, let me just tell you to be simpler. It's a girl. Alright, it's a girl. Now, S.E. Hinton was like this. S.E. Hinton was like, wow, a girl writing this novel? That is epic and stupendously stupid. They're like, oh my gosh, let's just publish this and then change your name to Manly, though. Like J.K. Rowling. There it is about a murderous catastrophe. And the Ponyboy, a 14-year-old brawler, chainsmaker, and a dreamer, is a fiercely loyal greaser. But a single murderous catastrophe is to wrench him and his old life and overturn everything he thinks he knows. Literally, it means that his friend, he was dunked into some water before he could even get drowned. Some other guy named Johnny stabbed the boy who was trying to, sink him. And they were like, and it turns out that was a bad thing. Bob got killed, and then Ponyboy was saved, and they ran away to ditches. They got some money from another greaser, but then later they went to a church and went into refuge in a church. The refuge in the church was pretty safe enough. They had cold water and some supplies, and they cut their hair and bleached it in the process. Uncool, mate. Uncool, mate. And yeah. This is how everything literally happens. And I just want to say this VR set is pretty cool. As how everything might have been if I never had a VR set, which I don't, is literally cool because there is a lot of stuff that you don't even know about me. And Ponyboy thinks he knows about literally everything it is to know that he needs to. And then it turns out that it wasn't what he really needs to, but it was what he needed to know, that is. He wants to know something, but he just wanted to. He didn't need them. And also, I'm getting dizzy. One thing about this is that This book is talking all about social division. Social division was a major crisis back then, even with the hip-hop's Elvis Presley and all that stuff. And a lot of these hip-hops came into division of how many people can go to Elvis Presley while the others cannot, but still enjoy some luxuries. And this is where some things get complicated. A lot of people go into wars because of their social division, like Tintin cartoons world versus SpongeBob's world, and literally because of how their differences are. If you want some cartoony things that are. And those are just some examples. You should not be divided. The only way we should be divided is by classification of our personalities. We should have always been. Now, as Martin Luther King says, King Jr. says, he's like, we should not. Nah. That's right. That's my father. Now, as everything literally says here, there is a lot of things. As Martin Luther King Jr. says, we should not be divided by the color of our skin, but we should be divided by our classifications, which was always should have been. And that is where I literally want to ask you this question that I want you to answer, because it is one of the most important questions in life that I have considered myself. How do you think we should divide each other? Should we divide it by color or classification, or how we are, or our groups or men's, or should we all be equal, no matter how rich, poor, what color of skin or are, since all our bodies are typically working a similar way? Well, I choose we are all equal, even if we have some different personalities. And why? A lot of people are having a lot of racial dimensions of this world, and classification is also not that always good. And since we should all be equal, I say we all be equal. Who isn't in with me? Good. And yeah, now I'll end this video here. Answer the question in the comments below, and I'll see all your responses. And I'll see you in the next episode. Shunhan out. Peace! Bye-bye!